Posted to Twitter. All right. And the stream is up. So, we are taking a break from Acquisitions Incorporated. And this week, we're going to be running a little Monster of the Week. This is actually a one-shot that we have been trying to get our way through for like 5 years now. So we'll see how this works. So Monster of the Week is a Powered by the Apocalypse game. It's more narrative-centered. For the most part, you all will say what you want to do. And then we'll say, oh, that sounds like a certain move, and then you'll roll for that move. You have special moves on your character sheet, which is called a playbook. But there's also moves that everyone has. And if you go to your character sheet, just above your luck, there's a thing that says Hunter Moves Reference, and that lists all the moves. It also gives you a neat little button to click to roll for that move really easily. If you click it, it'll show you all the details. So the short version on rolls, you have 5 stats. Each stat goes from -2 to +3. You'll roll 2d6 and add 1 stat. On a 1 through 6, you fail. And in this game, when you fail, it doesn't just not happen. Something bad is going to happen. I'll probably take what's called a hard move, which usually means like your situation gets worse. You get hurt, someone else gets hurt, the monster shows up, something breaks, someone sticks their nose in who's not supposed to be there.
Right.
On a 7 through 9, you get a mixed success. Usually this means that you get some or all of what you were trying to do, but there might be a cost, or it might not work out as well as you'd hoped. On a 10 plus, it goes off great. Usually you get some kind of added bonus, or it works perfectly with no complications. The good news is that if you roll badly, you get to mark experience. Leveling up can happen really fast if you have a run of bad rolls, and you get to level up as soon as it happens. You have 2 bars. One is called Harm. Harm is like your hit points. Each of you has 7 harm. This game can be a lot more lethal than D&D pretty quickly. A powerful monster could hit for 4 harm. And you'll notice that getting hit for 4 harm is more than half your health. If you get hit particularly hard, usually something else extra bad happens. Like you might drop your weapon, you might get some kind of penalty, you might get knocked down. Also, if you have more than 4 harm, you become unstable, and unstable wounds get worse. So this is kind of like getting shot or like gutted or something. You're going to need medical attention, or that wound's just going to get worse and worse.
Like bleeding. Yeah.
Luck is sort of like your plot armor. You know how the heroes can always do dumb, ridiculous things and never die? That's your luck. You can spend luck to negate damage from an attack, or to turn a roll to a 12 automatically. The flip side is, once you use all 3 luck, you are now considered doomed, and basically you will die. I will take hard moves against you all the time, and you will die pretty quick or have to change character. So, this game plays like a Monster of the Week. So, Buffy, Supernatural, X-Files, even Scooby-Doo. Somewhere in this town, and you just know this because it's the game, there is a monster or monsters doing bad stuff. I'll give you a little intro to sort of give you a glimpse of what you're facing. Your job is to figure out what it is, what it's doing, how to stop it, and how to hurt it. A lot of the monsters have special weaknesses. So like a vampire might have to be thrown out in the sunlight. A werewolf might have to be killed with silver, things like that. If you don't figure that out and you don't have a good plan, you'll die. So a lot of this is about getting the right information, doing it in a hurry, and trying to minimize damage until you figure it out. So I think that's most of it. And Harry, you stuck with the exiled, right?
Yeah.
All right. You'll notice I've made you little health bars down here.
Yes.
And you can just X those off as you take damage or use your luck. All right. I'm going to fiddle around with our layers here for a second so I can show you a picture. Come on.
It's Sunnydaleville.
All right, there we go. So, welcome to scenic Blue Hollow, West Virginia, the green jewel of the valley. This is a little beautiful, idyllic, rural, scenic town up in the mountains, nestled between several taller mountains. It's a rural town, not particularly large. There's like a handful of restaurants. There's a bank. There's a lot of tourism. Folks go hiking up in the mountains. And our story picks up getting into the late evening. The deep blanket of night has fallen over a wooded mountainside. Stars and moonlight wrestle with passing clouds, casting strange patches of shadow and light over the land below. The gentle symphony of animal sounds fills the air, croaking toads and chirping insects, the calls of night birds, and the occasional howl or roar of some large nocturnal predator at work. Our perspective dives towards the tree line, and we see a small clearing, carved out by some ancient storm or human effort. At the center are 3 large stones, 2 squat and round, and 1 long, roughly arrayed like a table, or perhaps an altar. You can see huge cuts in the turf where the stones were recently dragged to this place. Around the altar, a circle has been cut into the ground, and on the altar's surface a number of candles burn. Their flickering, uneven light makes it hard to see the other gathered accoutrements. 2 figures are on either side of the altar. One is a tall, slender man in a dark suit. Even in the night, he wears stylish, almost blacked-out sunglasses. He stands with authority over the altar, chanting in some unknown tongue over the other figure, who kneels before the altar. The chanting reaches a pinnacle, and the candles flare and burn out. For a moment, there is a faint glow coming from the standing figure. And suddenly your perspective careens wildly away, jerking to another point in the forest. Despite the late hour, 2 hikers are pushing forward with great difficulty through an overgrown trail. They are both young and athletic, a dark-haired man and a blonde woman, both in their early 20s. In the early autumn chill, they wear thick sweatshirts, each emblazoned with a college logo, and underneath, in a smaller font, School of Medicine. I told you we were out too far, Jeff. Okay. I heard you just fine every time you've said it over the last 2 miles, Blaze. I'm sorry. I made a mistake, and it sucks, okay? They push along in a huffy silence, the only sound the rustling of branches as they push from their path, and the crunching of discarded foliage beneath their feet. You realize your point of view is bobbing gently, and it remains at a steady distance from the 2. Something is floating through the air, following them. There is no sound as suddenly it swoops down. You have a brief glimpse of white-taloned fingers wrapped in black mist extending into your point of view. The girl turns to offer another complaint and sees the unknown assailant first. She screams loudly. The man turns just in time to offer his neck to the oncoming talons. He falls in a haze of black mist and gore, and the shadow descends on the girl. She screams one more time, and the shadow envelops her. The vision goes dark, but for several long seconds after, there are animalistic sounds of cruel and violent consumption. So our scene fades out and picks back up on a beautiful sunny day A car is heading down the road, a winding mountain Appalachian road towards the town of Zedalia. Tucked away near the border between Kentucky and West Virginia, you've been driving nearly an hour since the interstate and still have half an hour or more to go. You haven't passed a single car or gas station since the interstate. You're in an agency issued car. Hayden, through your contacts, you have been put in connection with Aaron and the figure that you all have taken to calling Harry. Harry, you woke up in these mountains a couple of months ago, and you have no idea why. You don't know where you came from, and this does not seem to be the place or perhaps even the time which you left. Aaron, you have been tapped for your unusual magical abilities. The agency has roped you in and has you consulting as support for Hayden's mission. So Hayden, you have been sent to discover the source of these strange murders, which were immediately flagged by your organization, and put a stop to whatever's happening here. So, what kind of vehicle are you all driving?
Oh, it's a blue van.
Well, I saw it.
I don't know.
Looked like it had a description of at the top of our chat here.
Oh yeah, did you take that upgrade, Hayden?
Oh, which one?
The mobility.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So this isn't just a this isn't just like a rental van. This is like a let's see. You took the good. Oh yeah. You took the fast and roomy tags, and you took the temperamental tag.
Yeah, it's a love-hate relationship with this van.
Yeah.
Sometimes it wants to start, and sometimes you gotta fiddle with the key for a good 5 to 10 minutes.
You gotta finesse it a little.
Yeah, and sometimes giving it gas and it just doesn't kick up as fast as some other times, and it just has its little quirks.
So you're telling me in this horror monster of the week setting, your escape vehicle doesn't start very quickly and sometimes doesn't go as fast as you want.
But it's armored, so
Yeah.
we could be inside and just take our time to get it started.
All right. So you're driving this van. The back is just filled with all of these strange weapons. There's both modern weapons, Hayden's complement of firearms, and even a grenade launcher. Oh, I think you get a second normal weapon, by the way, in addition to your shotgun.
Oh, whoops.
Also, there's Harry's massive, oversized weapons laying around. A true, like, old school yeoman bow that probably Hayden and Aaron can't draw. It's such a, like, heavy, ridiculous weapon. And a giant sword and shield. So you all are zooming down the road, and you come to the top of a hill, and the road is sort of like curving along the edge of one of the mountains here. And the town of Zedalia unfolds in front of you. So this is the center of this blue hollow valley. This is an area that extends, it's sort of like the center of these mountains, where several rivers run through. And you see the town of Zedalia for the first time. And it's almost somehow less than advertised. You can basically see the whole town splayed out like a tiny diorama. The road winds down the mountain and into the valley. There's a hard line of thick trees and a rapidly increasing incline that describe the rough boundaries of the town. You can see a downtown of sorts where most of the businesses are gathered. A neat white painted courthouse with a gold-domed peak, some older shops, and a lot of empty buildings. Houses are intermingled throughout, and you see a few restaurants, mostly fast food and a few local diners. A few bars and churches dot the corners. The whole town can't have more than 10 stoplights, and you would guess about half of those are unnecessary. A few winding roads extend up and out into the woods, and you can see some cabins and trails cut into some parts of the mountainside. So, here's the report that you received, Hayden. 2 medical students were home on break, and one of them is a local, and the other is her boyfriend. And they were hiking up in the mountains. They got lost, and their bodies were found the next morning. The bodies, what flagged this for your agency is that the bodies were drained of blood. That's sort of an automatic red flag that gets your attention. So, you know that these 2 people have been killed. And I will put an X through their portraits. And you've just arrived in town. Where do you want to head to start your investigation?
Okay.
And so here's another Monster of the Week thing. So I have a list of some locations that are already sort of worked out in advance. But for the most part, if you can think of somewhere you want to go, it's probably there. As long as it's reasonable. So you roll up into town, and what do you want to do first?
I'm plotting. Because when we started this 5 years ago, I halfway remember some of the details.
Wait, is this the one that we got my mom to play?
Yes.
Yes, we had 2 false starts on this. One with your mom and one with Quinn.
Okay.
If I remember correct, this creature.
So some of the details are probably different because I don't have great notes. So don't necessarily rely on your recollection of what happened before. So just sort of put yourselves... Where would you go first if you're this agent and you roll up in town and you want to investigate this mystery? Think like a TV show character.
That's the problem, because last I remember with this monster is it goes after broke people, kills them, and then clears their debts. That's all I remember.
Oh, really? I remember it
Yeah.
did something with money. I thought it left money behind or something, or took money, but I couldn't remember.
No, people who are in debt, it kills them and then takes. Okay, we're spoiling this. Okay.
Yep.
We need to go.
The sheriff's office.
Corned beef and other good stuff, potatoes, and
I actually can't mute myself.
Irish kind of a thing.
If I read.
On Discord, in the bottom left, you should have a mute next to your name.
That's what it is. Anyways, he left. Right, I left. Okay, let's go check out the murder scene.
All right. So you all were, kind of given a basic rundown. The bodies were found on one of the hiking trails, not too far up into the mountain. And you have the advantage of being able to go park at the nearest sort of entry on the trail. So there's a parking lot. As you arrive, you can see that there are There's still some crime tape sort of run across here, some caution tape, that big yellow, and it's sort of across the gate here. And there is a deputy's car in the parking lot, and there is a deputy apparently snoozing in the driver's seat. What do y'all want to do?
We'll just go around him. He's clearly asleep.
All right. So we're going to call this an act under pressure roll.
Oh, baby.
All of us?
So this will just be Hayden. We'll see how well you can bypass this guard.
Joke's on you, I got unfazable. What do I roll again? Act under pressure.
Yep.
Full difficulty, right?
Say it again.
I have a +3 to cool, so I hit submit. The 3. Gonna hit submit.
Looks like it added 3 again. But man, you got a 12. Yeah. You just very easily, like... So it's the little gate onto the trail that's blocked. But there's not a fence. You know, it's one of those sort of like metaphorical gates they just use to tell you if the park is closed. And you see the sign that says, like, from the sheriff's department. It's very, very tiny font, but the gist is like, don't go here. And you look at it and you're just like, I can go around this. And you lead the party past the deputy. So the trail here is like, this is like an access, like side path for exactly what you're using it for, to get onto the trail without having to walk like 15 miles. And you're actually not too far from the site of the murder. You basically come to the end of the trail, take a right, and you find another set of caution tape. And there's still little, like, hard plastic flags have been planted in a couple of places. It's probably only been about a day since this happened. There is another deputy up ahead. What do y'all want to do?
Let's just go talk to him.
I'm guessing he's awake.
Yes. This deputy is awake, seems to be paying much more attention. It's a young woman, and in fact, she's almost paying like too much attention. She's like standing very rigidly, and as you come close, she doesn't quite go for a gun, but there's like an air of like hyper officialness that she suddenly adopts. Y'all aren't supposed to be back here. What are you doing?
Oh, we were sent to come help investigate the murders.
Sent by who? And so I'll leave this up to you. Your agency probably does have some kind of special access here. So is it like a code word? Do you have like a special ID? You tell me kind of how you do this.
I have a badge, and it's like on a chain around my neck, so I reach over, I can pull it out. Like they do in like some of those cop shows.
They have the, yeah.
Their official badges. It's like, it's metal and everything. It has like the agency's like symbol on it, and it has like my credentials of being, the professional.
All right. So you flash this badge at her. I'm going to call this a manipulate someone, because honestly, your badge is too fancy for her. Like, the sheriff would know what this is, but this is like some low-level deputy who has no idea. It does look impressive, though. I'm going to give you +1 on this roll.
Okay, now I know how this works, so we're gonna submit that, give it a +1. Then submit. How'd I do? I got 11.
Dang,
That's
nice
with the
rolls.
+1. Love it.
All right, on a manipulate someone, they're going to do what you asked them to do for the reason you gave them. You flash your fancy badge, and she says, "Oh, okay, sir. So this was. I went to school with her. This was Blaze Abner and where Blaze and Jeffrey Anglin were attacked. We think it was some kind of animal attack. I guess you can look around, kind of see if there's anything. If there's anything else you want to know, just ask me, and I guess you can take a look."
I'm assuming the bodies are at the morgue now.
Yes, so the bodies have been taken down to the morgue. But you can see that most of the physical details are sort of still in place. You all were basically like dragged out of bed pretty quickly as soon as a police scanner, as soon as a police frequency had the words "no blood in the bodies." A bunch of like alarms went off, and you all got dragged out of bed. So how do y'all want to investigate? What are y'all doing? What are Harry and Aaron doing?
Oh, well, I'm letting him talk the whole time.
Harry, we're at the crime scene. I need you to investigate this time.
Investigate.
What about the crime scene?
So you're actually pretty well balanced if you want to investigate. You're super tough, but you're also reasonably good in all your other stats. All right. So Aaron, how are you investigating? What are you looking for? What's sort of your technique here?
I guess I'm just looking for like unusual tracks, marks on the trees, any kind of like, I don't know, underbrush that's obviously damaged. Like to see if I can get any kind of idea of the size of the thing, or
All right. So I'll let you choose. So you got a 7 to 9, so you get to hold 1.
hold.
So you can trade that hold to get an honest answer to one of the questions on the list. What happened here? What sort of creature is it? What can it do? What can hurt it? Where did it go? What was it going to do? What is being concealed here? You'll only get information sort of based on what you're actually investigating, but the information you get from this will be true.
I guess what sort of creature is it would be question out.
So, based on what you asked, looking sort of for trails and marks, as a spooky sort of person, though not the spooky playbook, but a spooky sort of person, you're looking around for like crushed grass and like marks on trees and like footprints, anything like that. You only see the same 2 sets of shoe prints. And they didn't seem to... It's like they got to this point and then just stopped. So it's not a very, like, complex pattern. And process of elimination, whatever this was, seems like it can fly. It either can fly or does not leave footprints or traces.
Right. That is okay. I guess that's useful information.
All right, Harry, what are you doing?
It's,
Well, I'm investigating. I see Aaron's doing his thing. Hayden's doing my thing. Or his thing. Not my thing. I'll be investigating as well, because, more eyes help out.
All right. So if you're also looking around, give me an investigate a mystery, and tell me just sort of what you might be looking for. So the background you've chosen is that your character is sort of this barbarian from the past. How would he investigate?
Well, he's kind of the old-fashioned way, so he's kind of looking up in the trees for, like, broken limbs and stuff like that. He's kind of looking on the ground to see, like, how the blood splattered, because depending on the type of creature, the blood splatters a little differently. Like, you can tell if it's more of an aerial, a ground, like you
Yeah.
can tell, like, what type of aerial creature.
like what direction it attacked from or something. Yeah.
Yeah, what direction they kind of came from, just kind of by the blood splatter.
All right. In that case, give me investigate a mystery. Man, y'all are rolling real good. All right, with a 10, you get hold 2, so you can ask 2 questions. And it'll be based on sort of what you asked. So what happened here? What sort of creature is it? What can it do? What can hurt it? Where did it go? What was it going to do? What is being concealed here?
So I'm thinking of, where did the creature go?
All right. So yeah, with what you said, this lines up perfectly. So I think you start off kind of looking like at the ground level, and there's way less blood than you'd expect. If 2 people died here and their bodies laid here, there should be a massive pool of blood. Like if a creature, like a wild animal had attacked them, 1, it wouldn't have left them. But 2, like, yeah, there'd be blood everywhere. There really isn't. There's little splatters here and there, but you notice there's this strange, like, thin line of droplets. And the droplets are a good distance apart from each other, and they have sort of a large splash radius. And I don't think that you would like be working out the math, the physics of this, but on some sort of intuitive hunter level, you get the impression that it flew up and away after it attacked. And this is blood sort of dripping behind it. And it leaves a distinct line going down the mountain back towards town. You have 1 more hold. What else do you want to ask? Oh, I also encourage you all. I left a big open space here in the center of the map. You might want to use the text feature and write notes on stuff you find out.
Focus on you. I got a Google Doc, and I'm writing notes right now.
Awesome.
So, can I kind of tell what sort of type of creature it is?
So, there's sort of a mysterious... You can't imagine why you would know this. It's like some ancient knowledge just bubbles to the top of your brain. This is a flying creature. It left very little blood behind. I mean, there's a lot here that sounds like something like vampiric, something that is drinking blood. You also sort of make the distinction, it left the bodies. If it was something that wanted to eat them, it would have carried them off. All right. So,
Why do I
go ahead.
say I have investigative mystery, but I also have investigative mystery flexible alternative?
That's just an alternate rule set.
Okay.
We won't worry about it. So, Hayden, what are you doing?
Clearly, I have to investigate.
And you do have the option to talk to the deputy as well. That would also be investigative mystery and might get you other information.
Well, yeah, I talked to the deputy. I was talking. All right, deputy, what do you got for me? Do I have to roll or talk first?
Try and can you give her any more direction than just what has she got? Is there anything specifically you would think to ask?
Well, yeah, of course. So, you knew Blaze. What is double speaking? Sorry, I'm double speaking. I can hear myself on someone else's. It's bothering me. Anyways, so you knew Blaze. What was she like?
Well, oh man, it's real hard to talk about it with her just dying and all.
And just like 3 feet away from us, but that's besides the point.
So go ahead and give me investigate a mystery, and we'll kind of see how the questions fit into what you're asking. All right, and 9. On a 9, you get hold 1. So, probably we'll go with this. Yeah, she was she was real nice. We didn't exactly run in the same social circle. She was always in all the advanced classes, and then she went off to college, and I went off and got my my associates in criminology, so we didn't really keep up really well. But it seemed like she was doing really good in medical school, and was going to be a fancy doctor before too long. She met Jeffrey there, and he seemed real nice. It's a real shame, and that's a bad way to go too.
It is, and that's why we got called in, just because some of the reports are a little strange, and the government wanted our people to come in and investigate it because it's just how weird and bizarre the murders were. Don't worry, we're gonna find the killer. We're gonna bring this killer to justice. I can assure you that one.
Well, I guess that's good to hear. So what is being concealed here?
That deputy said all good things, but she didn't give good details, which means she's hiding something.
Well, it's less
She's
about
lying.
it's less about what she's concealing, and more about that there's a layer to this. So as she's talking, she kind of goes on for a minute. That's kind of the gist of it. But she tells you like an anecdote about something that happened, something silly that happened at a football game, and she starts talking a bit about Mr. and Mrs. Abner, Blaze's parents, and she says, "Yeah, they were. Man, this is such a shame. Blaze was almost done, and they'd been working so hard to put her through school. I know they were hoping she'd go somewhere closer to home, but she got a couple of scholarships, and even though it was really expensive, they were working hard to put her through school okay. And gosh, I just don't know what they're going to do." She kind of blathers on for a little bit longer. All right, so you all have investigated this area. What do you want to do now?
Yes.
All the blood from town.
All right. So, you all had kind of gotten an early start here. So, it's probably like mid-morning at this point. There we go. So, where do you want to head next?
I was going to
Well, I
say
think
yeah. Look at
I
the
think our
body.
Harry boy, he wants to follow the blood.
No, right. We do have the blood trail. I guess that could be important.
Yeah, let's go track it.
So I'll tell you this with the blood trail. There's not as much blood as you would expect. And so it's not like a cohesive trail that runs all the way to town. What you do see is that... so what you do see is that it does distinctly head towards town. So it seems like whatever happened, it feels like it came from town.
Should we see if these murders happen quite often?
Sure.
They did.
Where would you want to go to find out about that?
The internet?
We go into the library, boys. It's time to get our knowledge on.
The funeral home?
All
That's
right.
it, yeah.
So internet's a perfectly legit answer. So I think the internet is probably a somewhat new concept for Harry. So this would be something, we'll say this is like in the car, you have like a smartphone that the agency has set you up with. So go ahead and give me another investigate a mystery. And what kind of stuff are you looking up?
I guess, last, type of stuff. I'm looking up to see how many people have died in the past few weeks and months, and maybe see like what their cause of was.
So I think you've got a bit of an advantage here because your special agency phone is built for stuff like this. So it easily is able to start pulling through, newspapers and death notices and things. So give me an investigate a mystery.
Let's get this.
Ooh. Does anyone want to try and help?
I'm driving, but
I can say, you're looking at the wrong section, Harry. You need to go to the town page, and then you need to go to bizarre deaths. That's under the
I
that
give the phone to Aaron.
got reported in the obituary.
I get upset.
Gets mad. Almost breaks the phone.
So whoever's
Small
going to do
black
this
AirPods
needs
not
to
working.
do help out, and that's a plus cool move.
Okay.
Oh, I'm a cool move. I'm a cool guy. Aaron, he gave you the phone though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, with an 8. On an 8 on help out, you are able to help, but you also expose yourself to trouble or danger.
Driver.
So you all,
Aaron's gonna see.
yeah. So you all are looking at this. Aaron, you start assisting, and so we're going to call this "What Happened Here." So these are the only two deaths that really stand out. Most of the other stuff's pretty, stuff that like makes sense. It's not a huge population, and you just see stuff like older person dies of natural causes, guy gets shot in knee in hunting accident, hiker, like
Mauled
3
to
years
death
ago.
by black bear.
Yeah, like 3 years ago, like a hiker got attacked by an animal or something, but they lived, and there's nothing weird about it. Probably the only other weirdest thing is there's something about some local kid who's fighting a weird illness. There's a picture of him, team, Team Billy, and it's a headline of him giving like a weak thumbs up. But yeah, this seems like the start of the pattern. That's what you sort of take away from it. These first two murders are the first two murders. All right. So you were on your way to, did you say the sheriff or the morgue?
Well, since we know all the people that have died, I guess we could go to the morgue, but I think we already know the cause is lack of blood to the body.
They can talk to the ME or
I guess
whatever.
we could end the bite marks to get a better idea of what type of flying creature,
Yeah.
or what type of vampiric flying creature there
Yeah.
it is.
What kind of damage was done?
All right. So you all pull up at the morgue. The morgue isn't too far. It's such a small town. Everything's very, very close by. You're able to pull in. There is another sheriff's car here. This one's actually marked sheriff, so you get the impression that the sheriff himself is here, and it's a relatively small building. It looks like it's built like partially down into like underground, which you assume is something to do with like cooling and keeping the sort of atmosphere correct. There is a what looks like maybe like an intern or attendant or someone who's kind of sitting at a desk, and really hardly anyone ever comes in here in person, and so this person's just kind of like reading. They're just sort of scrolling on their phone. And the doorbell rings, or the door chimes. Yeah? Y'all need something?
Oh yeah, we just want to take a quick peek at the bodies, mostly just like the neck areas where they were killed, to see the wounds, because we're here to help investigate the murders, and we want to just kind of get a look at what the killer's using to understand, because this could be a recurring pattern depending on how fast we can apprehend the person who killed them. What the hell's going on there?
Wait. Neck wounds, and you think a person killed them with neck wounds?
Wait, weren't they killed
Possibly.
by around the neck?
I guess we don't know where they were bit or how the blood was drained.
I'll say all you know is
They died.
they died, and there was a lot less blood than there should be. That was part of like the official report.
Oh, then yeah, we're here to check out the bodies to see how they were the wound patterns and like
How they were
we
killed.
just need to check it out.
Uh-huh. You can kind of tell that this person, like, they didn't care a minute ago, but you just implied that, like, someone is going around biting necks and killing people, and now they are a little wary of you. I think
Flash your
I'm
badge.
I
gonna,
understand.
I think I'm gonna need to see some ID or something. Have y'all talked to the sheriff? Like, who are you people?
And happily, I whip out my badge.
Yeah. It's a cool badge.
That's what he says. Cool badge. Okay. By the way, have you decided on a name for your sort of agency?
Kind of like the name The Agency.
All right. Um, I mean, what is that like? Is that like CIA? Why's it got the in front
Yeah.
of it?
Well, just because The Agency, honestly, it works around so many weird ways that for the grunts like us, we just call it The Agency. And it's just a big cover because it covers a lot of stuff.
It's all the
It's
weird.
all bureaucratic and money issues and trying to solve a lot of different weird, messed up mysteries like this one where you have two perps, have no blood. So then the agency kind of comes in to help. And so it's a broad term, and, we just kind of adopted the name. And honestly, what they're really called.
Hey, what is that? It would actually be a good name to actually call
It's a proper name besides the agency, even though I like the name the agency.
Federal Paranormal Investigation Units.
Yes, it's the Federal Paranormal Investigation Unit, but I call it the agency. It's not as scary.
Huh. So you all have been able to sort of watch this sort of movement across his mind of like, okay, it was like, I don't care, to these people are weird and I don't want to get fired, and now you've been upgraded to this is above my pay grade. He's like, yeah, just hold on a second, and he picks up the phone and dials a number, and you actually hear a phone, like it sounds like a cell phone ringing, like in the distance, and he says, "Hey, hey, Sheriff, I know you're busy. Sorry to bother you." And he gets kind of hushed. There's some like weird guys here. One of them's real big, and I swear he's got a sword. But one of them's also got like a real fancy badge, like I ain't never seen before. I don't really know what to do. You want to come take a look at this? And you hear kind of the click. And about a minute later, the sheriff walks in. She comes through a set of double doors in the back. And this is... this is Sheriff Amy Hatcherley. She looks like she's maybe in her... like mid to late 40s. Glasses, short hair. But she's on the shorter side, but she's definitely radiating a like mess around and find out vibe. And she says, well, thanks, John. I'll take it from here. Actually, you know what? I got this. Why don't you go and take a lunch break? And it is getting on towards lunchtime. And John's like, well, ain't gonna hear me argue with that. And he grabs his phone, grabs his stuff, and heads off. And she looks up and says, Well, all right. I guess y'all must be the ones that I got a phone call about a couple hours ago.
Yes, we are.
All right. Well, guess we better go look at the bodies. And she leads you back through several series of doors. Before the last set of doors, there's like medical gloves and little masks that she hands out to everyone. She hands the first set that she hands to Harry, like the gloves are way too small, and she has to get out like a box of like extra large gloves. But once everyone is sort of suited up, she lets you into the room. And you can see there's what looks like a medical examiner working. It looks like a young man, glasses, dark hair, a little bit of facial hair, and he looks up and seems surprised to see you all. Oh, also, I should probably mention this in case you're not looking. I'm adding NPCs to the thing as they pop up.
Yes, I saw that.
Mostly I'm just highlighting it because I worked way more on it than I should have, and I want y'all to see it. So, he looks up and he says, Sheriff, who are these guys? And she says, well, now Leland, you just don't you worry about that too much. They're we'll call them specialists. They're here to take a look and see if they can't give us a little more illumination on what's happening. And he kind of shrugs and steps back, and you all can see the bodies, the autopsies have started. And Sheriff Hatchley says, yeah, John and Sue came in and ID'd them this morning. They were real broken up, and Jeffrey didn't even have any next of kin we could get a hold of. Seems like he was just supporting himself. Yeah. So what kinds of questions do you want to ask? What are you all doing?
You know what? I might just grab the autopsy reports and skim over them. Maybe try to figure out where the creature tried to spot the creature chose to drain all their blood.
Chose the field where they died.
All right. So this is going to be another investigate. Got a 9.
I'll say I was going to just to see if I could see any other unusual marks or like anything maybe magic related that could have happened.
Yeah. What should we call this? So I think I'm actually going to call this. I think I'm going to call this actually a use magic roll. So give me a roll plus weird.
That
Man, y'all are just killing it. All right, with a 10, the magic works without issues. So we're going to say that you are observing another place and time. So when you sort of open yourself up to the magic in this space, you start getting these really disorienting flashes. They're almost like jump scares that just come out of nowhere. And it takes you a second to realize what you're seeing is what... Because Blaze was the one who saw it first. You're seeing what she saw just a moment before she died. And you're seeing there's like a black mist that surrounds this thing. It makes it kind of hard to see. It's almost like a shadow that just sort of tore through the air. But you catch little glimpses of like long, spindly, pale fingers with like talons at the end, and a pale face, sort of half covered in this shrouding mist. Yeah, I think that's what you'll give you with the 10.
Okay.
So Hayden, go ahead and roll your investigate. All right,
We're
man.
just
It's
Remember
more
last
interesting
time we
if y'all
played-
fail.
look. All I know is last time we played, we failed every time.
Oh yeah, we did again.
There's a happy medium somewhere.
Yeah, right.
Here's the only one who's failed so far. He's a little failure.
All right. And so what were you trying to check out?
So I was reading the autopsy reports, checking out like causes of death, and like, which I figured the monster would have a very preferred spot. He would and stab them or whatever. How he drained the blood, just to better understand my monster.
All right. So
Mine.
you pick up a couple of things. On an 8, you're getting one question, and the question sounds like, "What can it do?" And what you're seeing here is there's two sorts of wounds. There are like deep bruises. It seems like whatever this was, like, this wasn't quick. It like grabbed them and locked them in place. Also, there's not just one bite mark. There's a lot of bite marks. You also find a really gross detail. There is saliva mingled with the blood that's remaining sort of around the wounds. And so rather than like a puncture and drink, what you're getting more of is like a tear and lap. Like a cat almost. Which is a lot grosser.
Does sound like it.
All right. What is Harry doing?
He just came back from getting food.
Harry's eating his sandwich. Well,
Write it down, please.
All right. So while y'all are doing this, Leland is kind of watching you all, trying to sort of piece together what exactly is happening here. And he says, "Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. Usually, you can, there's people tend to die in the same sort of ways a lot, and I don't know. This is something new." All right, what else do y'all want to do?
I don't know. What are you thinking, Aaron?
Can't think of anything. So we already researched if this has happened before or anything, and this seems like the first time. Um,
So what else would you be looking for? So you've seen the crime scene, you've seen the wounds and the bodies. What else might be helpful?
We're trying to figure out what else would be helpful because we've seen the wounds, we've seen the crime scenes. We probably
other-
talk to the parents.
so yeah, is this a targeted attack or is this random? Yeah.
Do you think we need to talk to their parents? Nah,
Or
they're
somebody,
already grieving. They need some time to grieve.
yeah, like somebody that was close to them that knew him well, maybe like people that went to school with them. I don't know. Yeah, someone that maybe noticed something weird in their lives leading up to the attack.
All right. So you're. So how are you going to find people to talk to? Where do you want to? Where do you want to try and find those answers?
Oh, we gotta go to the local bar. We'll go to like a local lunchtime restaurant, and then we'll head to the local bar, and we'll see if anybody like new has showed up,
I don't think that's gonna work.
or if anybody's acting strange all of a sudden.
That's not gonna work either.
Or
We could go wherever the college kids hang out or whatever.
Yeah. So I'll say that you all are kind of talking this out loud, and Leland says, "Well, I mean, it's Zedalia. There's not too many places people would be, and it's about lunchtime. There's there's a couple restaurants. We've got there's a new Mexican restaurant a lot of people have been going to. There's if you're in a hurry, you can go to the old Chamburgers if you don't mind getting food poisoning. There's also now if you're looking for it's noon. If you're looking for the real hard cases and out of towners, there's a bar and sort of mini casino that makes its living off the tourists. If you want to go check that out.
Go to the casino.
All right. Appropriately enough, you look it up and it's called the Green Jewel Casino and actually they wouldn't call it casino. The Green Jewel Fine Spirits and Gaming is the name of the establishment. It is not as nice as it sounds. You probably get there about 1 o'clock. There's only a couple of cars in the parking lot. It's a little ways out towards where more of the lodges and sort of cabins that tourists rent are. It seems intentionally situated to pick up the people who get bored of hiking. So there's a couple cars. You guys head in. Yeah, you see a couple folks scattered around. There's a sort of listless bartender just sort of idly polishing. You see a couple folks are playing on electronic slot machines and other sort of quote unquote skill games. Who else is here? You also see a guy he's lounging in the corner, just completely sprawled across this chair, sitting kind of bonelessly, and he's got a row of shot glasses in front of him, and there's a couple of guys sitting with him, and their demeanor suggests lackey. And they're doing shots at like 12:30. They're sitting in the corner laughing and sort of yucking it up together. What do you guys want to do?
Literally, you gotta talk to the lackeys.
All right. So there's one guy in very nice clothes, and there's two guys who are in like slightly less nice clothes. But look, they're trying to look nice. And it's clothing that is like it looks like it should be in like a European club. It looks very out of place here. And yeah, what do y'all want to do? What do you want to say?
I want to ask them. I'm like, guys, it's a bit early to be just dropping shots left and right like that. Yeah, not judging. Just curious.
Hey, what else is there to do in this crap town?
Go hiking.
Do I look like someone who goes hiking?
Not
I'm thinking about the
the
wrong purpose of hiking. I have no idea what you said, Aaron.
oh, I say not the outdoorsy type, I guess.
No. Now, skiing in the Alps, that's more my brand of nature. No, you won't catch me dead outside here in the redneck holler.
So you're telling me you don't want to go out into the woods and potentially get in a fight with like a raccoon? That sounds like badass time right there. You already got your shots. You already took some armor. Got some armor on. Do it.
I don't know what you're talking about. Back where I came from, it was a pleasure to be able to walk to a city with more than 5 buildings. That's what we call a big city. I had to walk 10 miles each and every day to see our best friend Dave.
Easy now. Easy now.
Yeah, I'm not doing that old person.
He's sort of eyeing you all, little blurrily. You noticed like probably 3 of these shots are already gone, and there's no like food or anything on the table. And he's looking at you all and says, "Look, you all are really just sort of ruining the atmosphere. What do you want?"
Yeah, I don't know. I was just want to join in.
Useless.
I guess I'm asking if they knew Jeffrey or Blaze.
Oh, it's Jeffrey Angland and Blaze Abner. Oh, you might have said that and you just got cut off. That makes sense.
Jeffrey or Blaze. I just didn't say the last names.
I guess I knew Blaze a little. My parents wouldn't. My parents wouldn't shut up about her. Blah blah blah. So smart. Went to medical school. Yeah. I don't know. Everyone keeps saying she's dead, I guess.
Okay, so you don't know anything about the attack.
Why? All I know is they're supposed to be dead. She was supposed to be so smart and so sad, blah, blah, blah. He's like actively checking his phone at this point.
Let's say it doesn't seem like he knows much.
Man, this guy sounds like a prick. I hope a monster kills him next.
Try to set him up for bait.
Yeah, too much blood on our hands. Go after that.
All gonna be gone.
I would say after that exchange of him not caring, I go. I just look at him. Yeah, that's kind of weird. You're our number one suspect now. Blaze is dead. You sound like you hate her. She took the glory of the town because the whole town loves her, but they don't like you. Not causing a motive right there. Just gotta find the weapon.
Are you some kind of like, I don't know, extra testosterone-y cop or something? Look,
Big time, baby.
Testosterone, is that like a pizza topping?
he just sort of hangs his head. Look, honestly, I couldn't care less about this town. I just can't wait until I can leave and never have to be here again.
Good enough. I'd say. I told him, you know what? You might hit it big on those slot machines.
I usually bet a little bigger than, whatever these things are. Video gambling.
Yeah. Video arcade, yeah. Poker.
Oh, baby. You know what? I go, oh, really? What do you bet on? You, big, blackjack poker person? That's in the thousands.
Oh, poker, I suppose, occasionally. It's really more about the atmosphere. This is just the... I was going to say the best this town has, but even that feels like too much credit. It's here, I suppose.
I mean, the best thing I've heard is the best this town had was Blaze. Alright, I think I've screwed around with them way too much. They're useless.
All right.
On that note, I dropped that last dig in on him, and I decided to just walk off, leave him be.
All right. Do you want to ask anyone else anything? Earlier, you were mentioning something about new people in town.
That's all you, Harry. You want to see new people?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like a bartender or whatever, somebody that would be someone that works here.
Yeah. There's they look kind of like half dazed. It's hard to tell if they're just not paid enough, or if they are maybe just a little bit, what would be the best way to put it? We'll just stick with just a little bit out of it.
Yeah. Mentally checked out or something.
So what do you want to ask it?
This was Harry's idea. I was going to let him lead if he wanted to.
Sure. What you got, Harry?
Like, seeing I figured we could go to like a local establishment for food place. It's around lunchtime. And I figured we could go in there and like ask kind of the servers if there's like been anybody new in town or anybody in town like acting strange like they just got possessed by like a flying demon.
Sure. So you could talk to the bartender here if you'd like, or you can, or you could head to one of the restaurants in town. Which would you all prefer?
Oh, we'll start with the casino because the casino only gets like a certain type of people. Like some of them are kind of not good with money, some of them are. I could call someone to go to a nut job and then become pay for a demon so that they can eat something.
All right. You're 10 feet away from the bartender. So what question do you actually want to put to him? Just are there new people around?
So I turn around and like, have you seen any new people come to town recently?
Yeah. I said earlier we weren't going to use them, but actually I'm looking at it, and I kind of like the alternate investigate a mystery. So go ahead and roll investigate a mystery, and we'll see how many questions you get.
Do you have to click the flexible alternative one, or does it matter?
It doesn't really matter because it just rolls.
It's the same. Okay, yeah. I was curious.
All right, man. Y'all are killing it. All right, on a 9. You get to ask one general question. In that case, you said new people in town.
Yep.
It takes him a really long time to answer. He's got kind of a thick drawl, and being a little bit baked is slowing him down even more. There's a lot of like, yeah, like, yeah, like there's been like some tourists and stuff. There's like, that like cute Blaze girl. I hear she brought her boyfriend, I guess. Oh yeah. There was like one weird guy. Oh my goodness. That sound is y'all talking basketball on the text message.
Loki, yeah.
Oh man, that is an embarrassing way for them to go out.
I don't know what a 15 seed is, but
It means one of the worst teams in the tournament.
I thought 16 seed was the worst, right?
Right, but that means that they're in the bottom 8.
second to worst.
Oh yeah. They were supposed to lose.
Yeah, it's like those kind of matchups are like 95-5 odds usually.
Right. They won in overtime at least, but still.
Oh, I thought it said they lost in overtime.
His team lost. He's rooting for the second seed,
Yeah.
Kentucky.
Anyway,
My dad was rooting for the 15 seed. I don't even remember what.
bringing this back. He says, yeah, there was one guy who, like, I don't know, he was, like, weird, man. I was eating at, like, the new Mexican place. It's really good. And, he was there eating with somebody in like a corner booth, and like I remember he had these like dark sunglasses on, and it was like, even though it was like dark outside. And I thought that was like weird.
Do you have really pale skin as well?
Yeah.
Do you know what hotel you stayed at?
No. And I
How
didn't
many
like-
hotels?
I mean, there's not really. It's not even really a hotel. There's just like there's like a couple of lodges up towards the like up towards the hills, and there's like I don't know. There's like a Motel 6. It's not a great
Okay,
one.
we'll check out.
Well then.
I think the last time they renovated, I was in like middle school, maybe.
Gotcha.
All right, that was your general question. Is there anything else y'all want to do here? Or do you want to go check out somewhere else?
I want to do one roll on the slot machine.
All right.
Like, can we put like a little bet on it? Like, if I roll 2 100-sided dice and get a 200, I win a jackpot. Under 150, I just lose money, and like in between, I gain some certain amount.
Sure.
It sounds like a feasible odds to me. That
Sure.
I got this. Oh, shit.
You lose money.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh well.
It's funny because for a second you think you've won money, because it spits back out and is like all these lights go off and there's like positive like jingling noises, and you realize though the amount that you won is like only like a fraction of what you spent. So you got back like, how much did you put in?
We'll say 5.
You put in $5 and you got back like a quarter. But it made a really big deal out of it, so it kind of made it feel like you won.
Yeah.
But I didn't win. I lost for 75. You know what? I will stick with my one loss, and
Oh, loser.
I'll stick with my loss, and I will call my one spin done.
All right. Where to next?
I don't want it written into the story that Hayden's like a basketball fan, and in the middle of the conversation with the bartender guy, he was getting notifications about the game on his phone or something.
That's fair.
That's when we got distracted.
Yeah, it was because I was betting, and I bet on the 15 seed. This is why I have. This is why my character sheet. I am. I think it's well monetary. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Nope, I'm just well armed. Never mind.
All right.
I was betting on the 2 seed.
So
Maybe.
it's getting a little bit further into the afternoon now. Where do y'all want to head next?
Oh.
So how many different, whatever you would call it, motel places were there? Just Motel 6 and then like some lodges, you said?
Yeah. So y'all want to kind of just go check around for someone of that description or anyone odd?
I would say, yeah, we could go to the Motel 6, ask the guy there if anybody weird had come in or whatever.
All right.
See.
We'll call this an investigative mystery, and we'll say that you're checking kind of all, like, as many as you can.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll join him.
So, Aaron, roll the investigative mystery, and if you're borderline, one of the others can give you a help out. Let's see what you get. A 7. All right. That gets you one general question. So you were basically just asking for like anyone. Well, so here's what I'll say. They're a little standoffish. They don't really want to give you this kind of information.
Even with the flashing of the badge and everything.
Yeah, it's without like a specific warrant or something, it's kind of hard to convince them to give out a lot of information. So you're going to get one. Do you want to ask about people in general, or do you want to ask about this pale person with the sunglasses?
What do you think, guys? I guess we could just whatever.
So what are you asking?
Pale guy.
Really quiet.
I'll say yeah. You're getting kind of fuzzy for some reason.
Really? Okay. Let me check my.
Hey, the storm that's trying to come in.
Oh,
That's what
yeah.
you're hearing it.
So the settings all seem to be the same. I mean, yeah,
Whatever you just did, were you leaned back too far?
maybe.
Yeah, you sound
Yeah.
clearer now.
Okay.
I think it might have been your noise filter.
So yeah, it has like a silencer noise gate thing or whatever on it. So yeah, it might be.
Yeah, you got very clear towards the end of that last sentence.
Oh, weird. Okay.
All right, so you're asking about the pale guy?
Yes.
Okay. Nobody has heard or seen this person. You managed to get it out that none of the motels or the lodges or the cabins have heard of this guy.
Were you saying Hayden or Harry could do a help out action if it was borderline like?
It would have to be a 9.
Oh, okay,
So
gotcha.
on a 6, it can take you from a total fail to a mixed, and on a 9, it can take you from mixed
Mixed.
to full.
Yeah, gotcha.
All right, so that's what Aaron has been doing. Harrison, how have you been spending this afternoon of research?
Well, just kind of walking the streets, meandering around, looking to see if I spot like anything like weird, unusual. Black coat with sunglasses.
Give me investigate a mystery. Man, how do you all never fail?
We will fail once we get into combat.
Wild.
Yeah,
Okay,
all combat rolls will be terrible.
so you can ask one general question and 2 specific questions.
Um,
So, got any question ideas?
I gotta think of question ideas. I didn't think I'd do this good. I figured this be like failed because I've been doing so good all night. Um, do I do I spot this strange deity? Or do I see anybody looking out of place?
Sorry. Chelsea just tried to give Russell medicine and was choking him, and now he's like blorking through the background. Acting like he's going to throw up.
I feel like he's trying to make himself throw up.
Because he probably is.
Oh. They gave us eye ointment for him with no... They really undersold how difficult it's going to be to give a 90-pound animal eye ointment if he doesn't want it. Anyway, okay. Looking for, did you say unusual people? Was that the...
Yeah.
It's a small town. It's a small town. Word travels fast.
Can you get him his pills?
Yeah. Word travels fast. So, most folks in town, people can tell you pretty quickly. Unusual people in town. Obviously Blaze was back. She brought Jeffrey. Leland Jordan, the ME, is new to town. You didn't get his name, but by description, you guess it's Andreas, the jerk who was in the casino.
Oh.
It sounds like he doesn't normally live here. His parents are from here, but they made a lot of money, and so he grew up somewhere else. And for some reason, he moved back to town about a month ago and has just been a real pain in everyone's butt the whole time. Anyone else? Those are the only ones, like, you get the real vibe. There's like the tourists and the townies, that kind of vibe. These are the only folks who like have really been interacting with the town. Most other folks maybe come eat at the restaurants, but pretty much stay up in the lodges. There's like a restaurant up at a state park there where a lot of them eat, and they don't come down to town a whole lot. So that was your that was a general question. You get 2 specific questions.
And you got any ideas, please?
So you're...
Get 2 suspicious questions because I was looking around, looking for suspicious people. Figure out the jerk. His parents just live there.
A what? Let's go talk to his parents now. What if...
Oh, do we... Has anybody seen the person in the black coat with the sunglasses and the pale skin recently?
This one is a little harder to run down. After you ask a few people, the impression you get is, with such an unusual figure, they do remember him. It seems like he was just there like one time. Maybe a month or so ago. And
Is that basketball game?
I have no idea.
Yeah, you do hear that it sounds like he met with someone in town, but whoever he met with tried to keep it on the down low, and you're not 100% sure who it is.
Probably met with Jeff, and now Jeff's dead. Pretty down low, because Jeff's gonna be 6 feet down low.
Let's see.
So I think you've got one more specific question.
I thought here you asked.
What?
Hey, you have one more question apparently.
I really don't know. Look for the black coat man.
He's been gone for a month. I think there's anything weird in the woods that's been discovered recently.
You guys been hearing any strange noises?
In the woods.
So you do get one strange response to this, because you're kind of asking this of several people. You have one person who says, actually, it wasn't weird noises in the woods. It was. This is going to sound crazy. There's been a couple of nights where, at night there's not a lot of like lights up on the mountain, but there's been like weird colored lights. My house is I guess at just the right angle, and when I look out my bathroom window when I went to pee at 3 o'clock in the morning, I swear I've seen lights a couple of times, like way up in the mountains somewhere.
Weird lights.
Perfect. We'll keep an eye out on that tonight.
All right, Hayden, what are you doing during this time?
So during this time, I am familiarizing myself with this town. So I've been walking up and around this town, peeking in windows and just getting the feel of the people. Like Scrappy's Burgers.
All right.
I definitely checked them out. Like I walked into this place and I ordered fries because those are the least likely things to be not cooked right and get me food poisoning.
All right. So you find there's a place right off the main sort of stretch of town called Chamburgers.
That's what it was. It Champ Burgers?
Cham Burgers. So like champ with no P. Cham Burgers.
Yeah, Champ.
And you also notice there down the road you passed El Chaminos, and a little bit further down from that you passed Champion Steaks. And all three of them have had a Chamblin Restaurants Enterprise at the bottom of their sign. One of the things you notice as you walk in is Chamburgers has a their most recent health inspection rating is posted like on the on the exterior as you come in, and it is like the lowest possible sea that passes. So you get fries. What else do you want to do there?
Okay, so am I like the only one in there? Just me? Or is there other people?
There's a few other people. It's see if I can make this bigger. Nope, can't. Annoying. Yeah, there's a few other people there. It's sort of fast food, so there's not a ton of people like hanging out indefinitely. But yeah, you see a few folks hanging around. There's some teenagers. It's the afternoon, so they're probably skipping school. There's some workers.
Or it's summer break.
That's true. Could be. It is nice weather. Maybe it is summer. You do see. So there's a couple workers. There's also someone sort of set up in a corner with like some paperwork and things, like paperwork and like financial records and things, sort of sitting out in front of them, and sort of they're idly eating fries and sort of looking over stuff and scrolling up and down on a laptop. What do you want to do?
Well, clearly I gotta see what they're doing.
All right. So are you gonna say anything? Or are you gonna try and just sort of snoop, like, sort of without letting on?
No, I'm pretty bold. So, I just want to ask what they're going over, what they're looking at. Very upfront person.
The guy says, "Do you always just come up to strangers and just start talking?"
Yes.
Yeah.
Huh.
Generally, I find it actually has a lot of fun about it. It just how I kind of am. It'd be weird if I snooped around you instead.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true. I'm just looking at some of the. Yeah, he pulls out a business card and says, "I'm." He seems very distracted. He says, I'm Morris Chamblin. I'm the proprietor here." And he shakes your hand.
Oh, I shake his hand. I go, "I'm Hayden, and I was called in to help investigate the murders."
Oh, geez, somebody got murdered?
Yeah, Jeffrey and Blaze.
Jeffrey. The Abner girl?
Yeah,
Oh, man. She,
yeah, and
she worked here in high school. Oh, man. Do they know what happened? They were murdered? Not like something, not like an animal or something.
yeah, no, it's a proper murder.
Oh, jeez. Wow. I'm sorry to hear that. So you're trying to sort of get a peek at his books while you're doing this?
A little bit, some side glances.
Go ahead and give me investigate a mystery.
Hey guys, I feel like this is gonna be the first one I fail.
What is happening?
I like how he got a 2 on his joke roll right at the beginning, and then that's the only low roll he's gotten the whole time.
These aren't even crazy bonuses. Like,
This is all normal. Because we were supposed to just choose one of the auto-generated stat blocks or whatever, right?
yeah, yeah.
That's why I did, and then
Yeah. I
All right.
chose that.
I only buffed and yeah, the ones I increased.
All right. Then ask a general question and then 2 specific questions. Or no, sorry, I had that backwards. 2 general questions, 1 specific question.
Okay. So, how's business going?
So you're having to sort of read between the lines for this one because he seems to be like he doesn't want to say it. But you're looking down at the books and there's a lot of red. There's a lot of red. And you're sort of quick enough to just sort of add up, and you see that some of the columns are not some. A lot of the columns are coming out in negative numbers.
Oh.
You also just sort of piece together, this guy looks stressed. Also, combined with the fact that, like, the only people really in here are him and teenagers. And teenagers will eat anything. But you don't see, like, any families, you don't see any adults. This place is surprisingly uncrowded, because you're here at, like, probably 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. There's nobody here. All right. What's another general question?
Easy. Do you own the other El Chimino things? Like El Chiminos, Chimino steaks, or Chimino Cham burgers, El Chiminans, and Cham steaks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of a restaurateur here. Nobody else really, seems to care about businesses in this town. So, there's got to be somewhere to eat.
True that. True that.
One specific question.
Oh. What do we ask him? I feel like this is a lot harder because we keep passing all the rolls. Last time it was, oh, you failed, and then it just ended.
You get experience that way.
I have to think so much harder. This takes a lot of brain power.
The specific.
This is hard. What? Any help? Aaron, any help? I'm really struggling for some reason. I'm the one who does all the talking. I don't know why it's hard to ask these specific questions. But in any other situation, it's easy for me to spin some huge, great lie and keep all the details together.
It's easier to be vague. I don't know what the difference between like a general and a specific question would be. Like, Yeah, I don't know. Asking him if asking him if his restaurant is having financial trouble. Would that be a specific question?
Well, he's already sort of Hayden's already sort of put that together.
He's kind of
Yeah.
gathered that, so there's not much more to discuss there.
Yeah.
I guess what I'd say, don't worry about specific as much. Just ask another question.
Okay.
Okay. What would be a third question you ask this guy? Ask him. It's kind of odd. I mean, it's rush time, but there's not very people wanting to come eat tonight. Today, it seems like it's just a special day of the week that people do something else or something. Try to be nice, not point out that his restaurant sucks.
Yeah, you put this together pretty easily. They just got an awful health inspection rating, and it is crushing them. I'll give you a bonus too. He keeps looking down the way where there is a sign for what looks like a new Mexican restaurant, and it is right across from El Chimino's. And that place is doing great. His place is neither of his places seem to be doing well.
Oh. It's unfortunate. I'm guessing.
You cut out a lot on that.
Were his restaurant doing better before another restaurant came to town?
Yeah, it was definitely doing a lot better. This seems to be a new phenomenon.
After that question, I simply wish him well and kind of meander my way out with my untouched bag of fries. As I find the nearest trash can without him seeing and throw them away.
All right.
We are not risking taking me getting sick because of this.
All right. So you all kind of reconvene after doing your research. The agency puts you up in the Motel 6. It is not super nice. And you all are able to. Well, no, I won't push you along. So it's getting on towards evening. What do you all want to do?
So we're definitely going to have to do some stalking tonight. Because I feel like the monster attacks. Well, when were they killed? I don't know what time. It could attack during broad daylight.
As far as you can tell, they were last heard from in like the evening, and then were found dead in the morning. So it seems like they probably died like late at night.
Okay, so we have to figure out. Alright, we gotta figure out a night plan. What are we doing tonight, boys? Are we gonna wander the mountain, looking for mysterious lights? Or are we gonna try to find some some suspects who we think it might go after next tonight and observe them? You know what? I got it. What if we stay in town? Okay. And we stay in town. We kind of stake out the town at night, having an idea where people are at. and we also keep an eye on the mountain for those mysterious lights. Because if we see those, then we'll try our best to follow them using Harry's ability. Using Harry's special his nature ability, since he is an old timer from the woods. Navigate us to the lights in the mountain. How's that sound?
All right. So you're wanting to go find the lights up in the mountains?
Yeah.
All right. I'll say, since you know what
stay
you're...
in town. Yeah. We'll find the lights.
I'll say you're going to have to choose one or the other, or you can split up.
Let's just see if we can find the lights.
All right.
Yes, working together might be a good idea.
You have a pretty good idea based on... because the guy told you, like, he could see it from a certain angle from his house. And so you're able to kind of, like, reverse engineer, and it points you to a spot up on the mountain. It's well off the beaten path. You're going to have to hike pretty far out there. It is getting on towards sort of full dark now. And you all find... you are able to find it. Because as it starts to get dark, you see the flickering lights. You see them through the woods. They must not be as bright as what he saw, because these are only visible because you're already pretty close. You already are sort of on the nearest trail. So you can kind of beat your way through the brush to get there. Are you approaching in any particular way?
Quite as possible.
Stealthily.
All right. Let's call this Act Under Pressure. I'm going to have all of you roll for this.
Oh no.
There it is.
It finally happened.
Ooh.
I got double ones.
Double hard moves. All right. So here's how we'll play this out. So this is bad for you all. You do make it up there. And what I'll say is something happens that is not immediately apparent. So you make your way through the brush. You get out and you find this clearing. And it's very distinctive because it looks like someone has drawn a circle around it. Like they've carved it into the mud. There are 3 large rocks that have been arranged almost like a table. And you can see that it looks like there's some... there's something on top of the rock. There seems to be something there. What do you all want to do?
Easy. Penetrate the circle closer to the rocks.
All right. Nothing in particular.
With my shotty out.
Actually, here's what
Scared
I'll
now,
say.
boys.
Nothing in particular happens when you cross. Harry, when you cross, it's a different story. You all see this, and it's maybe not as immediately apparent to Harry. Harry, a mark on your, like the upper left of your arm, suddenly burns. I don't know if maybe you knew about it before, maybe you didn't, but it is like, it's so hot that it's cold. And you all see this glowing symbol Um, it looks almost like two triangles, uh, just barely like side by side to each other. Um, it almost looks like two mountains, and it's burning. And Harry, you've been here before. You know that you've been here before, and you're having these sort of staticky flashes of memory, and you find yourself collapsed to the floor. You're on the ground in the grass, and you all just see this hulking barbarian just fall, straight on his back. Doesn't stop his fall at all. If it was anyone other than you, you would probably have hurt yourself, but there's just a huge thud. And as you sort of come back to it, as you regain consciousness, you find that you have given them a weak thumbs up for some reason. A gesture that isn't particularly natural to you. Yeah. So what do you all want to do in the clearing?
With his thumbs up, I'm gonna say he's declared him fine, and I'm gonna go investigate what's on top of these three rocks.
All right. Investigate a mystery.
See, Colby, our good scores have to come to an end eventually.
All right. On an 8, you can either ask one question from the investigate a mystery list or one general question.
Where's the investigative mystery list again?
If you go above your luck on your sheet, it says Hunter Moves Reference. And they're in alphabetical order.
Okay. Big. Okay. Well, I just gotta know, what kind of altar is this?
All right. So you check it out. There are marks carved into the rock here. You see what looks like the remains of like melted wax. And it looks like there are maybe other things that have been sort of spilled along the top of this table here. This is definitely a place where a powerful magical ritual has taken place. You also notice it looks like there has been more than one. It looks like there are elements here that are separated in time. So like there's some wax that's already been sort of decayed and sort of brushed away, and there's some that looks not fresh but more recent for sure. All right, Aaron, what are you doing?
Let's see. Okay. Maybe I missed this, but the two triangles, like appear in his armor, is just like some kind of tattoo thing that he always had, and it just.
So here's what I would say: the the mark is yeah, this would be visible. You don't know for sure if it was there or not before, but it definitely it's visible now, and it actually has I don't know. Harry, would you say that you have exposed arms?
Yeah.
It's sort of it almost looks like a brand. So I was kind of describing them side by side, but I actually like that better.
I was trying to find a triangle. The only two I could find was that one, or there was another one.
But yeah, that's the mark on his arm. What else do you want to check out?
Okay. So there's a circle. Okay. I guess I'll do my investigate magic things to see what kind of, I don't know, magical weirdness I can sense around. I don't know, what to describe it as exactly, but I'm assuming that kind of, yeah. So what I do investigate and then use magic, or
whoa. I'm going to call this just to investigate a mystery. And we'll just say that you have some ability to find magically things.
would it still do sharp, or would I say weird?
I think it'd still be sharp.
Okay. Sounds good.
Jeez. All right. Yeah, you get one question, and you want to know sort of what magic happened here?
Yeah, if there was some kind of magical stuff going on here, if I can get a sense of what it is.
All right. Your guess from looking over this space, just the rough guess, is that this is some kind of conjuration and binding magic. Something was drawn out in this place, and it was maybe used more than once. What I would also say is you might not know all of it off the top of your head, but you might be able to do more research later to figure this out, more than you have so far.
Okay, gotcha. Well,
I put a rough version of the symbol next to Harry's name on the sheet. All right. So as you all are sort of investigating this area, you suddenly see lights coming from the other direction. And the lights aren't magical in any way. It seems to be a truck pulling up in the parking lot where you left your vehicle. You're sort of down a hill from where you parked, and it's not too long before suddenly a very bright flashlight is shining in your faces, and a very sort of official voice is saying, "Hey, you all aren't supposed to be up here." Meanwhile,
the deputy that was asleep.
You don't actually know who this is. It doesn't sound like anyone you've met. And you have lights in your eyes, so you're not really sure. Meanwhile, our camera sort of pans up and out from this confrontation, and you see an older woman. Not old. She's maybe in like her 40s, and she's sitting at what looks like a dining room table in a house. And arranged on the table in front of her are pieces of paper with red lettering stamped sort of angrily across the top. And she's holding her head in her hands and just sort of keeps looking at the papers over and over. And with her focus down on the papers, she doesn't notice as something sweeps up behind her. It lingers over her for a moment, and there's almost this sort of alien head twist as it looks down and tries to sort of comprehend what it's seeing. And then there's a flash of horrible motion, and this cloud of black mist with a vaguely humanoid form inside falls over her, knocking her from her chair. There is a horrible scream cut suddenly short, and somewhere in Zedalia, someone has just died.
No, it wasn't us.
And that's where I'm going to leave us for tonight. Oh, maybe we'll rope CJ in and wrap this up. Maybe next week, just to actually finish it without restarting for the third time.
Well, I feel like we made a lot of progress in this third time just because we didn't fail that much.
Really good rolls, so that always helps.
So I like this. There's an X over a character, and you don't even know who it is.
Yep.
That's awesome.
All right.
I just like the fact that I remember the first time I tried playing this, I failed like every roll.
Yeah, I don't really know what's up. I had another group play on Sunday night, and they also just seemed to like really kill all their rolls.
Yeah, it's like the last couple that we ended up with something bad.
Let's see. And on a 2d6, the average roll is going to be 6 to 7. I mean, I don't know. And it'll probably be different once you all get in sort of a combat situation. Partially because I think all of you just have a couple of points in sharp, right?
Yeah.
Just one for me.
I have 2 in weird and 1 in sharp, I think.
Yeah. Even just one sharp means that most of the time you'll get at least a mixed success.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to leave it here because I'd love to power through and knock this out, but it's already 10:43 here.
Yep.
So I'm going to go ahead and end our stream, and we'll coordinate with the rest of the Ack crew and figure out if we're going to play again next week.
Sounds good.
All right.
So I'll drop off here. Good night, Internet.